Welcome to Linda's Corner. My name is Linda Bjork, and today we're going to be talking about how to create 5-star family dynamics. I'm delighted to welcome special guest Patricia Lindner from Germany. Patricia has 18 years of experience helping families thrive, and I'm excited to hear her message today. You can reach Patricia at Once Hub, and I'll include a link in the description. Thank you for joining with me, Patricia.
Hello, Linda. Thank you for having me. Such a beautiful way to connect and such a pleasure for me to be here with you.
Oh, it is delightful. It is so fun and amazing that through the internet and through connections, we can have a conversation face to face. I wish it was physically face to face, but at least I can see your face from Germany and the United States. And we're right here. It's beautiful.
And yeah, there are no borders any longer.
Isn't that lovely? Well, I am so grateful that you are talking about how to strengthen families. I believe that families are the basic unit of society. And if we want a strong, healthy, vibrant society, it starts with creating strong, vibrant, healthy families. So can you teach us what can parents do to help create this beautiful, as you say, 5-star family dynamics?
Yeah, so this could be a very long answer or a journey into the subject. I just want to keep it short and simple. My background is being a teacher and a teacher's trainer, and so I had really a lot of experience with especially families that were not living those 5-star family dynamics. And I stopped working as a teacher and studied a lot of methods, a lot of systems. And I always came back to families. I always came back to kids, especially. And yeah, just recently, and this is maybe a very tangible example I can mention. Recently, I worked with a mom, a very high achieving mom. And she wanted to work on herself, on her change, on her fulfillment. And it all came back, as you said, Linda, to the 5-star family dynamics. And what I did with her is I helped her see the invisible so that they, as a family, could reach the impossible. So this is what I want to maybe tease with. So that's the way we did it.
That is a teaser. Are you going to leave it at that? My goodness.
Of course not, but I wanted to really make it a conversation and not a monologue. So.
Fair enough. All right, let's have a conversation about it. You know, in the story that you just shared, I love that you talked about this mother. She wanted to start with working on herself. And I believe that anytime as a parent or as a spouse, when we're trying to work on our relationships, it always begins with working on ourselves. Sometimes we think, no, I'm perfect. I'm awesome. Everyone else is the problem. Everyone else is annoying. So they all just need to fix themselves. And it's magical what changes can take place when we work on ourselves.
Yeah.
So what did you suggest to this mother who wanted to become a better person?
Her issue was she wanted to really work on her self-development. So she wanted to start feeling more fulfilled, and she didn't know where it came from. And so she thought it was the job. And we worked on her job fulfillment. She was this very accomplished, or she is this very accomplished woman. And yeah, I did a lot of creative and intuitive sessions with her, just system on her patterns, her memories that led her back to her childhood. And I think it was session number 5 when she all of a sudden she said, I wish I knew myself better. I think there are so many hidden pieces that I can't see, because when I talk with you, it seems so easy. And then I brought up, I suggested her, we could talk about her human design chart. I don't know if you know the human design and the human design chart.
I do not. I looked it up just a little bit because I know that that's something that you do. but
Yeah.
I don't understand it. So if you'd like to explain that would be great.
Yeah. And so this was a very big shift for her because I did the human design chart. And for your listeners, I can explain this. This is a system, an amazing magical tool where it sounds like a bit like hoo or just astrology. And I just say just astrology, but it is a mixture of the I Ching, astrology, the chakra system, Kabbalah, and quantum physics. And so I took her date of birth and I took her time of birth and also the place where she was born. And I ran her chart and it gave me the type, the human design type she is. There are several different types of people, and there is general information that I can give people. For example, she was a generator. She is this working person. She has a lot of energy. She's a powerhouse. That's why she was this high achiever, is this high achiever. And she never runs out of energy. And she could so much relate to that we digged deeper. And then I could tell her a lot about her strategy, how she could work when there are challenges. She could work on her superpowers. And then there are very specific information pieces and bits inside the chart that talk about almost the genetic blueprint of a person. And I was a bit hesitant because she was late and accomplished and this leader. And I thought she might really complain about the session because this sounded like really something new to her. And in the end, she said, I am so moved. It feels like I am moved to tears because you talked about things that I knew about myself on the inside. And now you just said these things and I feel seen. And now I know why I react like this and I know where I could work on. And so we had special points to work on. And finally in this session, she said, could we just start off with something very new besides working with me? And I was, what is it?
What does that mean?
And she said, so I feel like I need the same thing for my husband because he never speaks to me and I don't understand what this is. And I want to know his type and his challenges. And so can we just take him into this boat of working on who we really are? And I have 2 kids and they are sometimes very special. I don't understand their reactions. My daughter, she is this performing person and sometimes she has so much energy. I don't know how to deal with that. And the son is so shy. And could you work on the family? And then we did it.
So then do you create a chart for each person in the family, even if they're not on board with saying, I want this? At least the mom can have an idea of, oh, this is where they're coming from. And this is kind of how they react. So it creates then, it's a system that creates kind of a blueprint, a pattern that we can say, okay, this matches or this doesn't match. I've heard of other different kinds of programs that have a similar type of thing. There's something to help us recognize and define the way that we think, the way that we respond, kind of our natural go-to. And then sometimes they will emphasize or point out our strengths and our weaknesses, things that we typically need to work on. And so understanding that we don't all think the same is very helpful. So I love the idea of recognizing how you think. And as you said, she felt seen. I love that word. So many people don't feel like they are seen and understood. So if this is a tool that helped her feel seen and understood, that's beautiful. And to be able to understand her dynamics and the dynamics of her children, and that we don't all come from the same place. It's so natural to think, well, I think this way, So everybody else thinks that way. And so I don't understand why you're not doing what I would do in that situation, and it can cause some conflict. So
Absolutely.
very
And
cool.
she was always so much looking forward to the next information and the next session.
Yeah.
And yeah, finally she said this was something that, like, the most helpful thing that she could think about, and she didn't hear about this before, because now when her daughter acts like this, then she can also, as you said, she can see her, the person, the individual the person is, and she can help her. And I think this is the main thing that human design and the work around human design, which is not the only thing that I offer, but it could really shine the light on the hidden gems, and it also can shine the light on bits and pieces that need attention. Because when there is a lot of pressure in the person to do things, then moms or dads can help the kid really work on their balance, their inner balance, and that they need to take pauses to relax, and that they need to respond to a certain thing like this. And so this was really like an energetic blueprint and a manual for the whole family. And of course, she asked her husband if this is okay for him to run the chart. So I would not want someone to get the chart of another person without asking them.
I think permission is always a good idea, especially as we're trying to work on our relationships. We have to also respect. And you were talking about stress and things. Do you have some suggestions for how kids can manage stress and how parents can help their kids? Right now has been kind of a trying time. We've had the pandemic for the last year, and we're still kind of not out of it, but we're pulling in that direction. And some kids are, well, and adults are stressed. It's affected their lives very much.
Yeah, and I think the pressure comes from outside. This is a societal pressure, especially nowadays in this phase of life, and with homeschooling and with lots of, I think, different fears that just recently are so present for kids and families and parents. And I think it is helping look deeper and go beyond this stress that comes from outside, and finding their solution and calm inside. And I think we can do this with very different methods. So I think it is very crucial to go outside and take some time in nature. That's what I do with my kids very often, just to have this balance of work and time in nature. And what is very key to, I think, a stress-less life is being joyful and playful and creative.
Yes, I was hoping you'd talk about that. Let's talk about being playful. I think that's so important. When I saw that you had mentioned that, I thought, oh, yes, let's talk about playing.
Yeah.
Some people are so good at working, but they forget about playing.
Yes, and thank you for putting it that way, because I think each and everyone is a playful, creative human being. But on our way to being those accomplished adults, we lose it. We leave it somewhere because of what comes our way, and what we need to do, and what we are supposed to do, and how we are supposed to act. And I think this is that we are meant to live a joyful life. That's what I know for sure. And it shouldn't be about stress. And so I think everyone should reignite this creative inner flame, maybe by doing arts. This is one thing, or by singing, music, dancing, something like this. But also, and this is a big hobby or something that I really love, doing improv theater, not on stage anymore, but I do this a lot with my clients, and I do this a lot with my family.
Really? With your clients
Yeah.
and with your family. So how do you do that in a client situation?
So this is, for example, just a very, very easy thing. It is telling them through improv action or bringing them in touch with there is nothing wrong. You can't be wrong. You never can be wrong. There is always this yes and mentality and not the yes but mentality. And so you have an opinion, Linda, and I have one. And so, for example, doing exercises like maybe stepping a bit out of the comfort zone and playing with them in ways like, yeah, we could do something. If you want to do something.
Let's give it a try. If there's no wrong answer, I can do that.
There is no wrong answer. And just let's talk about 5 reasons why people should use brick furniture in the house and why this is the best. So this is really crazy. I just made it up.
Okay.
Just think
so
about
5 reasons. Why?
So we could just
let's talk about it. So brick furniture, boy, that's so resilient. You know, it's tough. If the kids climb on it or jump on it, it's still going to be okay. And if it's built with little blocks, I can build it myself. So that might be economical. I can put things together that way. And let's see, everything is going to coordinate because I've got brick this and brick that. So that's going to look good. And it's probably very green, very good for the environment. Let's see, that's 4. Help me come up with the 5th one. My mind is a blank. And then I can put nice cushions on it to make it soft. And
and as it is so heavy, you never have to rearrange it because you don't want to do that. So it saves a lot of time. And
exactly.
Cats can't destroy it.
Oh, good thing.
Isn't this amazing?
Yeah. I'm now ready to redecorate my whole house with this new brick furniture idea designed by Patricia Lindner. Or at least inspired by.
Yes. So this was just a small piece that I can do with people. And this gives you a different perspective and a different angle towards things. And you can really become this playful, crazy person that can't say anything wrong. And the great thing with improv, when I do it in groups or when I do it with a person one-on-one, I never let the person alone. Because so if you don't come up with number 5, then I say, yes, this is amazing what you mentioned. I didn't think about these. And then I add a 5th one.
So you can help them out.
Yeah, and so it's never about being right. It's always about adding something. And so my kids like this, and we do a lot of creative games around improv, just while eating, making up a story, something like, did you hear? There was a purple frog in the neighbor's garden. And then my son says, yes, there was a purple frog. And the purple frog had yellow boots on. And my daughter says, yes, and these boots were designer boots. And my husband says another thing. So it's just making up and opening up and being creative.
That's really what it is. So you're saying improv, but what it is creates a framework for creativity. Yeah. And I think that's a part of our brains that a lot of us don't use. We do what we're told to do. Say at work or whatever, and people forget how to be creative. That imagination, that creating is actually a very important part of our brain, and it's very, very underdeveloped. So that's very good. That's awesome.
Yeah, and it brings back parts of you, like puzzle pieces that you lost somehow, somewhere. And I can remember me starting doing improv things and really being afraid of making something or doing something wrong, saying something wrong, not coming up with the right thing. And the same with creativity. I have a lot of people that say, I can't paint. I don't want to do any creative things because I was told at school that I was not an artist. And so letting go of the outcome I think this is one of the most important things to remember. Let go of the outcome.
Let go of the outcome. Wow. And just enjoy the process. You know what you're describing resonates with me because my husband is super, super creative. If he can't create, to him, creation is like breathing. He has to be doing something. And for me, I'm more mathematical, analytical. You just do the things. And so creation for me was hard, scary. I'm not good at it. I can't. And realizing that there's different kinds of creations that, maybe I'm not good at painting or whatever, but there is something that I can create and do. And your imagination exercises, I really like that.
Yeah, and I think you are very creative.
Thank you.
I don't know you so much or so well.
I've come a long way. But like you said, the idea of worrying about the outcome, because I wanted, if it's not going to be perfect, I don't want to do it. And since I'm not going to be perfect at it, I don't even want to try. And that's not a good thing, but it is a common kind of a feeling where people would really like to be successful and look successful, and we're looking at that outcome instead of just enjoying the process. So it's something that I personally have had to work on a lot.
Yeah, and I think this is very common. And oftentimes people are told, yeah, but just be creative, or just don't worry about the outcome. And sometimes I don't know if you are open to talking about this, but do you remember what it was like when you were a child? Was there a situation that caused you feel like not creative or something like this?
That's a good question. And I cannot pinpoint a single event or anything that made me feel like I couldn't do it. But there were other situations that took place where I felt very much like I wasn't important, I didn't matter, I was invisible. So those kinds of things. And I don't know if that overlaps into that, but I just always felt like, that I can't do it. I'm not good at this. So
yeah, I think this is the root cause for everything, for people not stepping outside the comfort zone, not living the fulfilled life, not living the 5-star family dynamics, because this is what we took on and what we stored in our bodies. And so I think it is so important to really, really tune into the body and work with the body wisdom, and also get back the energy we lost on our journey to those grown-ups that think they need to be perfect.
Exactly. And that is a mindset that a lot of people need to work on. And I know I was something that I needed to work on. And I'm not a finished product. I am a work in progress, but I think I'm doing a great job. I've come a long way. I would not be talking with you today if I didn't feel like I could create and do something and talk to someone new if I didn't already know the outcome. So it is liberating to be able to let go and to feel at peace that we can enjoy the journey and it's going to be okay. And it's beautiful. And it's okay not to be perfect.
Yeah. And I think this needs to start with kids. This needs to start in education. I think teachers and educators need to be trauma informed, and they need to be able to deal with those stumbling blocks and not put more stumbling blocks into the lives of kids, but be those who create stepping stones that they can lead a liberated life.
Oh, I like that. Leading a liberated life and stepping stones. Beautiful. You know, when we're in school, we're taught, there are some things that we're taught, like how to read and how to write and how to do some basic math and physics and things like that. But there are a lot of things that we're expected just to pick up. We pick up from our parents, we pick up from our peers. We're just supposed to kind of absorb it. And things like how to behave, how to interact with other people, how to be happy, how to play, how to create, all of those things they're not taught. It's expected that we're just supposed to pick them up. So the idea that these are things that we also need to be teaching our children, and if we have the opportunity to teach students or to teach whatever, that there's more to life than just reading and writing and math and going to work. There's also an element of joy and an element of trying new things and being creative and imaginative and inventive. It is good.
Yeah, and what you said, so I just have goosebumps because this brings me back to what we said in the beginning, and you mentioned it, and you said it is always that a person starts to work on herself or himself. And now it is like a circle. We come back to this because when parents are liberated and open to teach their kids not to be perfect and let go of the outcome, and they don't shout at them and just do the same mistakes that, and I don't want to judge anyone, but the same mistakes that my parents did because they didn't know better. I think this is the beginning of this revolution, that when we liberate ourselves, we can liberate and heal our kids, and they don't need to work through the hard stuff when they are 30 or 40 years old.
That is so helpful and so useful. And if we can start young, how beautiful that would be. And I think each time that a person chooses to go through a process of self-healing and that self-liberating, that even their very presence helps give other people confidence. It's like, oh, they're allowed to be themselves. And it almost feels like it gives permission for other people to relax and not be perfect and to be able to be themselves. So I think it goes beyond just from parents to children. It's people that we come in contact with.
So it is heal yourself, heal the world.
Heal yourself, heal the world. Yeah. I love it. And I think that's the way it needs to take place, is one by one.
Right. Absolutely agree with what you said.
Perfect. And did you have a website or someplace that you wanted people to be able to go to reach you besides just the Once Hub?
Yes, I have a website, but this is a website that is going to be revamped. So I don't guide people to my website at the moment, but I would love to invite people to hop on a call with me for 15 to 20 minutes just to chat about their situations. Maybe I can give them some inspiration, or I currently opened up to do a very quick, like 10-minute reading on their human design chart so that they can get the first impression of what is my type, what is my strategy, and they can have a look at their chart. And maybe this is helpful for just the first step into this world.
That sounds lovely. So how do they reach you? Is there a phone number, or is it how do we connect with you?
There is a link that you can just give to your audience, to your listeners, and it is the Once Hub link with Patricia Lindner.
Oh, perfect. So it is through that.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, and they can pick the 15-minute slot for a human design chart or the 15-minute slot for a quick chat.
Wonderful. And did you say you were offering that part for free, or is that a charge?
No, this is for free.
Wow, that is very generous of you. Okay. So anybody who's interested in learning some more about this human design chart, please connect with Patricia. Well, lovely. Thank you so, so much.
You are welcome.
And thank you for visiting with me today. I feel like I'm a better person because I had the opportunity to visit with you today. So thank you.
Thank you so much again for having me. And I so much appreciate being able to talk to you about this very important subject. And it is not a subject, it is really a journey of healing and of liberation. And I'm so grateful for, this amazing conversation we had.
Oh, thank you. I love it. In closing, I would like to share a quote by German philosopher Friedrich Nietzsche. He said, "In family life, love is the oil that eases friction, the cement that binds closer together, and the music that brings harmony." Today, I invite you to do something to show your family that you love them. See you next time on Linda's Corner.